special Such Good Shoot interview extravaganza. So join Isaac, Dozer, and Shane and play the football and cracking here on Such Good Shoot.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Such Good Shoot and the Genres Podcasting Network is welcoming you to this special interview edition of Such Good Shoot, the podcast about anything and everything in the world of wrestling. Right above me, we have Shane. Up in the 11 o'clock position, we have Isaac. And right down in 9 o'clock, we have the very special guest today. We have the one, the only, Swoggle.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Oh man, I'm doing
Good. How are you?
Good. It's gonna be nice. A lot of fun. Looking forward to this one.
Oh yeah, man, we are too, man. I was watching a lot of random stuff to get ready for this one. One of the things I watched was Leprechaun Origins.
Thank you.
And
for watching. I appreciate it.
What was? I mean, just before we get into anything else, what was that experience like? It was what?
It was awful, if we're being honest.
Did you spend more time getting into makeup for that?
Yeah. So I talk about a lot in my book, and we'll hit on the book a little later too, I'm sure. But it was 3 hours to get into the prosthetics, and then an hour and a half to get out. And we would do that twice a day because we would break for lunch. And I would try to keep as much on as possible, but it was brutal. I was in the Vancouver summer, which one of the days got to I think it was 104. So we were happy that we were shooting at night. But it was brutal. It really was. But it's you know what? I got my name on a movie poster, which is pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it and I was like, it was for what it was. I mean, it was it's WWE Studios. I mean, was it sort of like they just came to you and were like, we got the rights to this?
Yes, I knew about it before, probably 3 years before we even started filming.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I was just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and I feel like I bugged him so much. When is this happening? And they were like, "Hey, let's do this," so he stops bugging us. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was, hey, we got the lights to Leprechaun, the franchise. You're the resident Leprechaun. There we go. And it's, wow. I say, if you go into the movie with a completely open mindset and thinking, hey, I just want to watch a fun horror film, it's awesome.
I had a good time.
If you go into it thinking it's going to be one of the cheesy Leprechaun movies, it's awful. But I enjoyed doing it. Like I say, I got the movie poster with my name as the headliner, and then one of the probably the coolest thing to come out of it is I actually asked. The only thing I asked for was one of the heads that from the movie, and they 2 weeks later, I got a package to my house.
One of the prosthetic heads.
And it was the head. And
so those things are creepy as hell.
It's in a shadow box in my bar right now.
That's awesome.
I have to hold on 1 second. Hey, are you practicing, guys? You're witnessing something big right now. You're witnessing something big. No. You're witnessing something real big. There's a rivalry on my Twitch channel. My son and I play Madden against each other once every few weeks, and he's not supposed to be practicing. And I did. Okay. I thought I caught him. I forgot. I did tell him, and that's because I walloped him. I walloped him last game. So I forgot. I agreed to
give him that hedge.
I forgot. I got real guys. I'm not gonna lie. I love how I got real mad. I saw it, so I could see it in the reflection of these pictures on the living room. I got real angry for a second. I was like, "This son of a gun is trying to get up on me," I'm behind my back. And no, I take this. There are things I take real seriously, and when it's competitions with my son, that's top dog. Competitions with my son, WrestleMania. That one, like that's it for me.
There will be no cheating.
No, because we bet on this now. The first one, he beat me 63-3.
Ouch.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It was literally like a breakdown, and you can see it on one of the past Twitch videos. It's literally like a mental breakdown and a physical breakdown. So much so that I threw my Xbox controller in the sewer in front of the house.
In the sewer.
I was just done with it. I was done. I was absolutely done with it. So then last one.
That's a commitment to throwing it. You got.
Yeah, man. It shouldn't happen. I shouldn't. First off, I shouldn't lose to my son at Xbox because I play quite a bit. Secondly, I shouldn't lose 63-3.
No, you should.
So then the next one, it was back and forth, and then I got up, and he started coming back, but I ended up getting it, and we bet. So the last now the wager is he wants this Kama Elite, the new Kama Elite Mattel.
Okay.
He can't name now. He can because he looked it up, but he wants this Kama Elite. So I bet, all right, you can get the Kama and one more figure off ringside if you beat me next week. So next Monday it's happening. The rubber match. I haven't thought of my bet yet. The last one was all chores for a week when he lost. So it might be something similar to that.
You got to take advantage of those moments.
I have to take advantage of this.
Yes.
There is something here. And it's just fun. Like that's another thing that lately the Twitch thing has been so fun and like it's become its own community like that I never thought it would be. Ethan Page, who's become such a close friend of mine, has told me for years now, you play video games every night. Do this, just Twitch. And I said, nah, it's stupid. And then I found he just told me buy the stuff and he sent me links to all the stuff because technologically I'm a complete idiot. I call a buddy of mine pretty much weekly to have him help me set up my Twitch stuff because I forget every week. And it just doesn't work. And I'm just not good with technology and electronics at all. So I bought it, and then like 6 months later, I finally go, all right, I'm doing it. And it's been such a good time ever since. And it's I mean, talk ranges from Stormy Daniels to the Great Khali to Kama to everything in between. It's literally like a once a week, twice a week meet and greet.
Oh my God, you brought up Great Khali, and I do you I mean, I'm sure you guys are friends, but do you follow him on Instagram?
I can't.
You can't?
I can't. It's literally like the same picture.
It's the funniest. It is the funniest.
Day.
I love it.
I
love it.
And it's always sitting. He never takes me, very rarely. Like
he'll do videos where he walks.
Huh?
He'll walk towards the camera slowly. He'll do those and he'll do this. He'll like listen to Bollywood. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, nope. He'll never get that follow. Nope.
Oh God, it's so funny.
Yeah, well, he sent one of his buddies into the wall a couple days ago. He like grabbed him by the neck and lightly tossed him. Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
He's a madman. But he like him and I bullied the hell out of him. Like, legitimately bullied him. Where in this day and age I'd be frowned upon, just because I was. But I was like, hey, if there's a target that I'm gonna pick, it's going to be him. Because why go for like Primo or Epico when I can bully the Great Khali? I made it my mission every week. Especially when I wasn't booked, I was just sitting in the locker room just bullying him.
Just reminding him of his skills.
Yeah.
Of course it had to be when you weren't booked, because half the time you were booked, you were just sitting under the ring for hours on end.
Hours. Literally so long. The record is, I think, 7 hours.
Oh my God. Do you have like a
So everyone asks like, did I have like a bucket to pee in it?
I was just wondering
if
you had snacks.
The craziest thing, I never ever had to go to the bathroom under there. I would sleep. I would bring. That was like when PSP, the PlayStation Portables, were a thing. I would bring that under the ring and just play under there. I could do it where I would sleep under the ring, and then the opening video would wake me up. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. You must be a little nervous at points though, being under there when some of the bigger bumps are going on.
I was so used to it.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of my hearing loss is from, if I'm really being honest with myself. But I could actually, like, it was a weird thing. After like a few days on a tour on the house show loops, I could hear and match it with the crowd reactions as to what was going on above me. So it was like, here's Kane and MVP, and I knew what was happening above me because of the bumps and the crowd reactions. It was pretty awesome. Like,
that's kind of cool
how you just figure that out by sound.
Yeah. And you're under there enough. Yeah. That's awesome. So, I mean, you grew up in Wisconsin, you're like a 90s kid. I mean, what were your first memories of wrestling at that time?
So I became a wrestling fan, and it's kind of crazy now. I became a wrestling fan because of wrestling figures. And it's my brother had wrestling figures and had the Hasbro Series 1. And like any little brother to big brother, you always want to do whatever your big brother's doing. And so I just took his figures all the time. So much so that he made my parents buy me my own. So and so like I had I still have a bunch of doubles of Hasbro Series 1.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well used, I assume.
Can't be displayed anywhere. Like but I still have them in my bin out in my garage as we speak, and it's pretty awesome. Like taking them out and showing Landon, like, and explaining them, hey, because now I actually just finished my my loose Hasbro collection, which is pretty awesome. It was during pandemic. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna start a collection. And Hawkins, I call him Hawkins, Brian Myers, whatever we're calling him. I call him Hawkins.
Hawkins works.
But I call him, I said, hey, I think I'm gonna do all Hasbro loose. And he goes, that's a big rabbit hole, man. That's a big decision. And I said, I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, I'm a diva when it comes to them too. Like, they gotta be minty. They can't be scuffed at all. I need everything with them. And so it was brutal, but it's come off, and I have it displayed in a D12 now in a glass case in my basement, and it looks so awesome. Like, it's exactly what I wanted and what I wanted it to be.
That's so cool.
I completed it. Yeah, I ended up completing it about 2 months ago.
So full circle.
It was over. Yeah, and I think that's like the coolest thing is some of these figures I've never held in my hand ever. And so to, like, at 35 years old to finally hold these figures that, you know, were out when I was a kid is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you've probably gotten a chance to work with more of the guys than you did get to
That's the crazy thing too, is like some of these guys, like, hey, I was on segments with you. Like, that's the fun thing.
Yeah, I was like, I've worked with you before I got to hold this action figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's cool. So from that, how did you end up getting into the professional wrestling business? Because you did a lot of touring in the indie scene.
Not beforehand.
No,
I didn't know.
So I thought you were doing like the Fox Valley and then the NWA.
I did NWA. I did a Wisconsin. I think I did maybe 4 in Illinois shows and 2 Indiana shows, but that was about it. I was just like a Wisconsin guy. But how that happens, I mean, like any kid in the 90s that's a wrestling fan, you backyard wrestle like an idiot. And it's just fun. And then we would our backyard company was drawing 250 or 300 people sometimes. It was crazy. Wow. Absolutely crazy. And so a local promoter saw money in this, of course, and said, hey, what if we train these kids and then they can sell tickets on our indie shows, which is exactly what we did. So then Mr. Ken Anderson is actually like one of my main trainers. And I was 17 years old. Me and my best friend, Nick Colucci.
Wow.
We just decided, I've known him since 3rd grade, and it's something we've always wanted to do together. And we just did it. And then a year and a half later, 2 years later, actually, no, 2.5 years later, because I started in 2003 and I got hired in May of 2006. So almost 3 years. Mr. Kennedy put the word in for me. They were looking for a guy of my stature for Finley, and it was off to the races.
And then little bastard was born.
Literally, that cat is gonna destroy the house.
He's such a punk, man. I swear to God. He knows the second I get in this corner, man, he's like, yep, it's time to cause some shit. But Shane's girlfriend will love it. So
Yes.
it's all worth it in the end.
Perfect. Yeah, so no, it was literally just off to the races. And I mean, one week I was working at Target, and the next Thursday I was on SmackDown. Like, it was crazy.
Shit.
Friday. I don't remember what day SmackDown was.
Yeah, but that's what a
They,
change.
I remember them asking me, like, so I had to put my notice in at Target, and I go, hey, I have to quit. I'm going on the road with WWE. And they're like, oh, cool. So next week you're good though? And I was like, no,
I quit.
I have to be gone. And they're like, oh, what do you mean? I said, guys, I'm not coming back. I'm traveling with Vince McMahon. Like, this is the best. And they're like, oh, well, we've never had that before. So okay. Yeah.
I love when they don't like understand the concept of
it was
quitting.
but in all reality, in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Target, I'm sure they haven't had a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to travel the world with the biggest wrestling company on the planet. I need here's my leaving notice.
Yeah, I'm out of here. That's so cool, man. So yeah, what was that change like? I mean, what was that like for you going from that world of, just being like an everyday, like waking up, going to your job, whatever extra time you have, devoting it to your indie stuff and your wrestling, but then all of a sudden you're on TV, man.
I think the craziest thing was, like, I went from, I mean, like I say, at that point, I'm not a traveler at all. Like, we'd go a summer family vacation once a summer, and that was it. But that a month later, I'm going to the Philippines for a tour with WWE. I don't know where the hell the Philippines are. I just turned 20 at that point. It was literally, I got hired 3 days before my 20th birthday.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I don't know these places. I was on a plane twice before that in my whole life, and now I'm on 5-6 flights a week. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And that was, I mean, I had a cell phone, but it hardly had any minutes on it because I didn't pay the bill because I was broke. I had a credit card, but that was maxed out because I was broke. It's just like stuff like that where I wasn't an adult. I was a 19-year-old child through and through, living paycheck to paycheck by writing bad checks because I was broke and because I was indie wrestling. Like, you
gotta eat.
Yeah, man. It was such a change of life, completely change of life. And I often think, like, okay, where would it have led if it wouldn't have been WWE? I'd still be working at Target. I'd still be broke. Like, that kind of thing where I don't think I would have ever moved on and grew up from that.
You wouldn't be allowed to write checks anywhere.
No, I wouldn't have a bank account. My bank account would be under my mattress.
So, I mean, you got there, and I mean, did you just start having fun? I mean, were you nervous? Was there a lot of, because it feels like you got to have more fun in your run than anyone else did, and there was like a different set of expectations or pressure for you than there might have been for the guys who are all fighting for like the heavyweight belt or something.
So I was very nervous because the first interview I did to try out for the Leprechaun character, I bombed. I tried to do an Irish accent. I can't do accents. I can't talk hardly, much less do an Irish accent while talking. So I blew it. And, like, I remember leaving the interview room, and I go, well, how'd it go, Fit? And he goes, very good. And I go, awesome. And then I got, like I said, 2 weeks later, I got the call and I got hired. And it was at that point, I was like, okay, now what? And then that week they're like, you're gonna live under the ring. You're gonna be essentially like a creature of mischief, and we're gonna go from there. And it was literally kind of week to week in the beginning of, let's see what we can do with this. And I think it was like it was less than 3 months, and I think they realized like, hey, we have something here. Like this is people, and especially kids, really enjoy this.
And that was when they made the change from Little Bastard to Hornswoggle.
Yeah, I guess they realized that you can't put Little Bastard on a toy at Toys R Us. And I just remember like coming home one week, and they put my profile on the website or something, and it said Little Bastard. And I remember my dad telling my grandpa, and my grandpa just going, "Hell, at least he's on TV." But it was man, I'll still be called that to this day. I don't care.
Yeah.
WWE still owns it, so they must have cared enough about it.
Right. That's great. So once like the whole McMahon son thing, how much headway did you get on that? Because I mean, everyone, is supposed to be Anderson, right?
That afternoon.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
So they just were like, all right, let's just do this.
So I talk about this in the book too quite a bit. I go into detail about it. The book, by the way, is Life is Short and So Am I. You can pick it up at dylanpostel.com. Personalized copies on there. Sent out immediately. Literally, that's like something I've been very, very good about is full. I fill all the orders myself from the website. It's like very like I enjoy the DIY part of that. Any order from koozies or from cups to koozies to cards to 8x10s to everything. I literally box, tape, label, ship everything myself. I enjoy doing it. But the McMahon thing, so I get to the building that day, and then about 3:30, it was in Green Bay. I remember to this day exactly where and when. I'm walking to the ring for rehearsal because we're all going to rehearse the segment. And Bruce Pritchard comes up to me, kind of like corners me behind the stage. He says, "Hey, I need your cell phone." And I go, "Screw you," and not so nice of words. And he goes, "I need your phone." And I go, "It's not happening, Bruce." He goes, "Believe me, you're going to want to do this." And I forgot. I think he was with one of the writers, and I kind of looked at the writer, and he goes, and I go, "Okay." I give him my phone. It was like my phone was hardly out of my hand. He goes, "You're the son." And I go, "Okay. Oh, all right." And he goes, "Where's your bag?" And like, because they were gonna have one of the props guys sneak my bag out of the locker room and under the ring. They needed to sneak me under the ring, so none of the boys on the roster would see me go under, and they would literally think that I just kind of left the building and went home. But I said, "Hey, you can watch me send this text. That's fine. Can I get 2 tickets for tonight?" And he goes, "Sure." And he watched me send a text to my dad saying, "Hey, can you bring Grandpa to the show tonight? It's going to be awesome." And that's all I put. And Bruce had tickets for my dad, my grandpa, for like one of the biggest nights of my career in my hometown. Like, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. But yeah, I found out 3:30 that afternoon.
That's crazy. How long before that you think they made that decision?
3:29 that afternoon.
What was the reaction backstage with the boys like then, since nobody knew? I mean,
I don't know. I remember because we had to go overseas. We
Okay.
got on we all got on a charter flight that night to go overseas. I remember, like, it was finish Raw, get your stuff for this overseas tour, get on the flight. So it was like we're just going. We didn't have any time to really like absorb it. I didn't have any time because I was the last segment.
That's bang bang.
Yeah.
What a just flurry in life. Like,
Yeah. It all kind of, that whole time is it's kind of a blur because everything happened so fast. I went from literally just Finley stuff, like random Finley stuff, having a blast, to this huge storyline. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
That's so wild. Yeah, and again, it's just like you got to have. It seems like you got to have a lot of fun in your time in WWE.
I always say like always the answer to, well, what do we do? Have it be Hornswoggle, like the Vince's son, the GM stuff.
The GM, was that the same thing? The 3:30 that day.
GM stuff I found out the Friday before. And it was supposed to be so much bigger than it was. It was supposed to be this big heel turn for me. Talking character. It's joked about Big Nick from Jersey, because I was supposed to be essentially like almost like a mob boss from New Jersey that could talk the whole time and just taking advantage of children and their stupid parents that just believed I was a child myself. And it didn't pan out that way.
Man, yeah, they didn't do anything with it.
Did nothing with it. Literally, it's like one of the biggest drop balls in WWE.
I mean, people still talk, because they built that stupid thing with the computer forever.
Which is like, to me, everyone, like, people hated it because it was annoying, but that was the point of it.
Yeah,
the point of it was to be annoying.
I hated that thing.
And that's why I loved it, because I was like, this is the reaction it's supposed to get. They did it during WrestleMania. Like, it's the best. Edge fought the laptop.
He beat the hell out of that laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to do that, and then you had, you got to be the official mascot of DX. You were in.
All that stuff. Every week when we're always doing the guest hosts, which is pretty crazy. Like, to think back, every week they had some pretty big stars, but it wasn't like hey, once a month we're gonna bring Bob Barker, or here's Shaq a few weeks later. It was every week they had someone, or like a whole band, or something pretty big.
And that was always like you and Chavo did that for weeks.
Every week I was doing something with the guest host. And the coolest thing about that is, like the Leprechaun head in my bar, I have stuff signed by every guest host that I ever interacted with. Like, I have Bob Barker signed Happy Gilmore for me, and Ozzy Osbourne, I have a album signed by him. Mike Tyson signed the Hangover DVD for me.
That's so
weird,
cool.
kind of cool, weird stuff. I have boxing gloves signed by Mayweather and Tyson down there. Like, it's pretty neat stuff that is very almost like one of one.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I remember Mike Tyson saying, "I've never signed one of these Hangover DVDs ever." It's like, oh, that makes me feel good.
That's awesome.
Bob Barker never signed a Hangover DVD at that point, or a Happy Gilmore DVD at that point. Wow. And he was like blown away. It's like, as to why I would have him sign that compared to like something else.
Because it's
the coolest.
Yeah, it's like one of the greatest celebrity cameos in a movie ever.
For sure, the greatest celebrity cameo in a movie.
Yeah,
ever.
Incredible. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I mean, one of those that always stuck with me, and like I remember watching it live and being like, just thinking for you as a person that it must have been cool, was when you got to work with the Muppets. And you were like
Hornswoggle on Muppets Raw, man. #.
And showing
that's something that I just made happen.
You were like, I've got the tattoo, guys.
I got the tattoo, literally, and I said, every day I'm going to get another Muppet. And for 7 days, I got another Muppet tattooed. Sometimes 2. It was absolutely crazy. And it was like I saw the power of like viral stuff and social media stuff, especially Twitter. And I was like, I need to make this happen, because I know they're not going to write something for me. And there's like, it went from, I think, 7 segments it was going to be that day to 2, 1, I forget. But then it was like, oh, this one segment is going to cause Hornswoggle to talk finally. That didn't happen either. But
that would have been Santa or something.
I got to work with the Muppets, and I got to talk to them and give them a tour of the whole backstage. Because that was like another thing. Like, every celebrity would come in, one of the superstars would give them a tour of everything, which was pretty cool. Like, so me being the Muppet fanatic, I was like, no one else is showing them around but me. And so it was my job that day. I got it that day.
Is that what got you the cameo in the movie?
So they did the Raw thing and Tribute to the Troops. And me being the Muppet fanatic I was like, I on the Muppet dirt sheet boards that I'm a part of, still to this day, I heard that they were going to do another movie. And I was like, I gotta try. So I talked to WWE's PR people. And I said, hey, could you reach out and ask them if they would have I don't care if I'm sipping a cup of coffee in the back of team. And they reached out, and immediately the people with the Muppets wrote back, we would absolutely love to have him part of this. And again, it was off to the races for that. And it was
so cool.
It was literally, like I say, I was expecting it to be a background, and it turned into half the movie, which is pretty awesome.
That's so cool. When I was a little kid, maybe 4 or 5 years old, my dad brought me and my brother to the Bronx Zoo.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to watch TV as little kids. Like, my parents were kind of hippies. And so we were at the Bronx Zoo, and Jim Henson was there.
Oh.
And Jim Henson was filming something for the Muppets show at the zoo, and he was doing Kermit the Frog there.
Yeah.
And my dad is like super fascinated. He's like, come on, guys, let's go. We got to watch this. And because we had never watched TV, my brother and I are both like, oh, man, fuck that. We want to go see the monkeys, man.
Yeah, it's a guy with a hand up a frog's ass.
Why? It's a puppet, dude. There's monkeys.
And like that for me, that's a back in time thing.
Yeah.
Like if there is a time machine someday, and there you get one trip, it's literally to watch him film the Muppet movie, the first one, just to see what he does. Like,
so good.
Yeah,
what a great.
That's what every day, man. Every day on the set was that for me. Literally standing back and just going, "This is the coolest freaking ever," and like asking him, "Hey, how does this work?" And like seeing how they hide the people or hide certain things, like seeing the behind the scenes stuff and like the magic, so to speak, of the Muppets was it's like that's something I'll take with me forever. And like Landon was real young, and it got about halfway through filming because I was over there about a month and a half. Excuse me. And I got about halfway through, and he wanted Dad home, and Dad couldn't come home yet. So I talked to a couple of them, and they actually sent videos for Landon, like, "Hey, he'll see you real soon. He'll be home soon. It's gonna be okay." And it was pretty awesome. It was like for them to do that, and then when
so
they did
nice.
Raw, actually when they did Raw, Landon was sick. He had a real bad cold, and Animal is my favorite character of all time. And so I said, "Hey man," I was FaceTime. "Hey, I hope you feel better." I hung up, and then my phone FaceTimed him again, but it was Animal talking to him. And he was so young, it blew his mind. that hung up, that call hung up. He called me back. I mean, "Dad, Animal called me." And it was he told me to feel better. And he instantly, man, he wasn't sick anymore. It was
that's so cool.
And that was the power of it. I mean, it was I think he was about 3 probably. And it made his day and stuff like that.
Did you get to see Frank Oz work at all?
No.
During the
No.
You didn't see him at all during that process?
No, I never got to meet him.
That's too bad.
Yeah, but I got to meet Carol Spinney at a Comic-Con, who does Big Bird and Big Bird and Oscar Grouch, and just literally talked to him for about 10 or 15 minutes. And just everyone on set was so just welcoming to me and all of my stupid questions 24/7.
What a great thing to be able to, like, starting off as going from Target to literally getting to meet the people you got to watch as a kid.
Bringing my dad to the premiere. My dad would never. He goes, I've never gone to Hollywood. I wouldn't I've always wanted to see it, but bringing him to a red carpet movie premiere in Hollywood, we're just 2 small town guys. Like that's what we are. We're from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We're not supposed to be on red carpets in Hollywood. He's getting his picture. He's getting his picture with Tina Fey and Ray Liotta and like all these people, and he's just loving it. Wearing my best friend's dress shoes with his suit, because he till this day is a little bit. We say cheap, he says frugal, but he didn't want to buy dress shoes for to wear once. So he asked my best friend if he could wear his. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty funny.
Oh, that must have been a great time. That's so cool. What a great experience. And yeah, like again, like just more fun. And like speaking of fun, I know Shane and I talk about this, and I'll let him talk a little bit more. But one of our favorite, just like fun, like gimmick matches was the WLC. And I know Shane has a couple of questions about that.
Absolute greatest thing I've ever done in my career. I say it all the time. I will never do something better than that in my whole life. All of wrestling, I'll never beat that night. Everything came together pretty damn well that night.
Yeah.
Just perfect. I mean, especially for being a pre-show match. I'll never forget my dad and I, who's downstairs right now. You know, we tended to skip a lot of the pre-show matches, especially around that time because they sucked. And you know, the announcement that it would be a WLC, and we're like, oh God, we gotta watch this fucking train wreck. You know what I mean?
That's just it. Everyone went into it thinking it was going to be a ha-ha joke, and it. You know what? It
was so good.
The commitment. You know what I mean? The commitment from everyone involved to make it what
That's
it was.
It was viewed as a joke, and in New Jersey, which is the second biggest heel crowd in the country behind Chicago, they should have booed us out of the building.
Yeah.
From jump. See, this is why I didn't talk. I'm not from the jump. We had them on their feet, and I said in an interview that that wasn't taken very well. I said that was the match of the pay-per-view.
It was
better. It was better than the Shield versus Evolution in the main event.
Yeah, I loved it.
Statement.
That's the one that I remember from that pay-per-view.
What everyone remembers.
Yes,
everyone remembers from Extreme Rules that year.
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
No, and even for the crowd to get as behind it as they did without the, I mean, because one of the things like watching it on pay-per-view or whatever was just how good the commentary was too, and how much that added to it. But like just as a match, it was so entertaining. Like you didn't need that even the live crowd was in it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if you go into it literally like the crowd did, of like, this is going to be a joke, you're blown away. And I just knew that we were going to do something really cool, but I didn't know. I mean, that's the most talked about match in my life, and I'm totally okay with it. But then like the forgotten matches, the next one, the Mask versus Hair, and that one I put right as like a 1B behind WLC, because that one we killed it on. There was just craziness in that. I did a flip through the ropes. We had a bunch of insane stuff in that one too. I had so much fun. That was the time of my life. And like I always say, in WWE during my run there was so many highs and so many lows. There wasn't a lot of stagnant. There wasn't a lot of like middle ground. It was like, hey, this is the friggin' coolest thing ever, or man, this sucks. Like, Target looks really good right now.
Yeah.
But it's that was definitely the highest of highs. I remember I talk about it again in the book. I didn't get out of my gear for like 2 hours. I was just sitting in my gear. Like I remember Torito, he was in his gear leaving the building in Chicago or in New Jersey that night. He goes, "You okay?" I said, "I'm good, man." He goes, "You gonna change?" I said, "I will in a little while. I'll change." I just like didn't want the night to be over. It was so awesome.
That's awesome, man. What a cool moment. And yeah, definitely. Like we had talked to Heath Slater a couple of weeks ago, and that was one of the things that we didn't get to, but we wanted to talk about because it's such an awesome match. But then you went on to be able to work with him outside of 3MB as Mini Gator.
I think that might be one of the lows.
Yeah, but I mean,
especially having to wear that stupid thing on house shows.
Oh God,
they tried to do that, and I stopped that after 2 weeks. I said, "Guys, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not wearing this outfit. Nope, not happening."
Yeah, man. I mean, that is like, yeah, from up here way down.
And like, in quick time too, because they let Jinder and Drew go.
Yes. Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere.
And then but without any sort of plans for anything in the future, which sort of seems to be.
Sounds familiar.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've heard that a lot.
So when towards the end, you were sort of, you knew your release was coming. You were sort of ready to be done. Was it nice to, like, I mean, you spent basically, all your 20s in WWE working, and then now you have a chance, you have this platform, you're well known, and you have sort of the opportunity to go out and do what you want. Was that really fun for you?
When I got released, it was like, it was such a range of emotions. It didn't hit me until actually, like, the crazy thing, until I called Hawkins. I got the call from talent relations. He was the first person I called. I don't know why I didn't call. I still don't know why I didn't call, like, my dad or my son's mom first. I don't know why, but I called Hawkins, and I was just like, I broke down, and he goes, "Hey, quit crying. You're gonna be fine. Give me a few hours." He called me less than a half hour with 23 dates. 23 dates that he set up for me. Yeah, I owe him so much, like, in my career and in life.
Yeah, I've heard you say that him and Kofi are some of the best friends you've had in this.
Two best friends. Yeah, that's true. They're not legitimately. I can swear on anything. Not a day goes by that I don't text them to.
That's awesome.
It's been that way. If I don't hear from one of them at some point during the day, we worry. We, like, legitimately worry about the other person. We'll text, like, and then the side text comes. But it's like,
hey, have you heard from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I get that.
But it's since I got released, I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be. I'll never put the Leprechaun stuff on the indies ever again. I don't want to be in that bubble. I don't want to be stuck there. I just don't. It's just not me. I want to change the view of me. I've always wanted to do that. A couple of years ago at WrestleMania weekend, on WrestleCon weekend, I made it like the I'm Not Dead tour. I had Nick Gage. I always forget what was after Nick Gage. I had Dan Moff that weekend. I had, like, these crazy matches where I was like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it big this weekend. And that's probably why
Nick Gage, Jesus, man.
And why today I'm not in the greatest of health physically, but it's okay. And it's
So I was going to ask about this in a few minutes, but I'm going to ask it now because I watched your boxing match.
Yeah, man.
And watching that, I mean, I watched it with Shane, and I was legitimately kind of pissed off at the stoppage.
There's two of us, man. I was so fucking.
You looked.
This is my only F of the day. I only give one F, and that's it.
You looked really upset.
Real mad. Like,
you were staring Portnoy down, and now
they screw me. But you know what? You can say it now because I don't have to be Billy Badass anymore. I'm glad they did, because he wanted to knock me out, and he was going to knock me out.
Yeah, I mean, he was. See, that wasn't. He's a tough.
I wasn't ready. I was ready for him for his first fight. I wasn't ready for him in that fight.
Yeah.
But it's.
But they definitely. I mean, like, it just seemed like it was really early. Like, yeah, he obviously had like an advantage.
So
but
the issue is the ref stoppage was because the ref didn't think I answered him and walked. That was the issue. I fully did, and I remember fully doing so, because I did exactly the same as I did the first time he gave me the count off and I answered him. The exact same. And I remember him counting it off and him calling the fight, and I looked right at this pizza guy, Dave Sabaro's old Sabaro Dave.
You just stared him down.
I stared a hole through him.
Yeah.
And he didn't know what to say because he didn't know why they called it. None of those guys did. And I just stared a hole through him. But you know what? Like, I got so many texts about that. Calls, texts leading like that day. Top WWE guys reached out to me. Seth Rollins did a whole video about it. I got a call from Kofi that day. Like, we were talking I texted him all the time. About 10:30 a.m. that morning, he just calls me and goes, "This is the day. This is your day. Today is your day." Best friend or not, this guy is a former heavyweight champion of the world with a family traveling crazy amounts. He doesn't need to do that, but he did. Like, after the fight, Xavier Woods sent me a video just like to cheer me up. I got, like I say, I got no less than 20 messages from top wrestling people just in support. And it was really, really cool. And it's something I knocked off my bucket list that I never wrote on my bucket list to begin with. And I'm very like proud of it because I dropped a lot of weight. I got in the best shape of my life in 6 weeks, literally 6 weeks.
And you went in there and you know, they called the fight and you didn't look like you had been beaten. What I was going to say, the connection there is, if you can have a match with Nick Gage, you could have gone.
I'm glad they called it because I would still be there right now on the mat. They wouldn't be able to scrape me off as much as he would have beat the crap out of me.
He looked tall. Yeah, I remember the pre-match promo, and he's like, "Oh, he can lift 550." Can you know?
That was the most fun, and like,
and then you're like,
people, I was like,
"Oh, that promo."
Hey man, we gotta talk to the building. I mean, they've never. You guys have had Jose Canseco who threw the fight. You guys have had this, but I know how to talk. Like, I know professional wrestling.
You gave a great promo.
It was fun.
I worked for Vince McMahon. Like, you couldn't lift my wallet.
Yeah, and it was like stuff like that where I literally threw the ideas past Landon, and if he popped for him, I was like, okay, this is good. Like, this works. And I went over to my buddy's house in his basement gym and just filmed all this stuff, and it was easy. It was so much fun, and I had fun with it. And I get like the power of Barstool Sports never hit me until after, when I'm like, I'll go to the around town, and I'm not like, "Hey, are you the guy from Barstool?" And I go,
I guess so.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. So you've done the Barstool, and now you've gotten to work in basically every major promotion.
Yeah, man. I think I might have been.
I think you're the only one.
I think I'm going to get called out about this. I might have been the first one to do Ring of Honor, TNA, Impact, Ring of Honor, Impact, AEW, and WWE.
Yeah, I think you're.
Yeah.
And if I'm not the first, I'm right behind it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you are. Which is a pretty cool thing to do. What were those experiences like? Did you have a lot of fun going and getting to do those spots and getting to work with those
Impact
companies?
was so much fun. Everyone talks about the AJ thing, and I think being able to wrestle Hawkins was even cooler to me because, but I mean, both of them, because they're both two of my close friends, him and Ethan Page. Ethan Page, so much so that I call him Julian during the match. Like, come on, Julian, you son of a bitch. And literally we get to the back, he goes, "You called me Julian." I said, "I called you Julian." He goes, "I wonder if they're going to edit that out." They didn't edit it out. It just made me laugh. Like, it made me laugh even more. But it was just like that. Like I say, that, and then the Hawkins match, and all that stuff was so much fun.
Well, I'm going to throw out one more promotion here that you worked for, and you won a title that's been held by an awful lot of people, working for the DDT.
And
and
that was
Iron Man heavyweight medal.
a random WrestleCon battle royal, but it's like I said, hey, can I do this? And I was like, because my dream is to, like everyone in wrestling, Japan is the last place I gotta go. I have to go to Japan, and then I can be done. It's just Japan, and I have to wrestle in Hawaii because Hawaii is the only state I haven't wrestled in. So that's literally it. And then I can be done and go back to Target and being a dad, sit home and get those Muppet royalties. Like that's all I care about. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. I don't ever think about like accomplishments because when you think about those too much, I have a feeling it can go to your head.
Yeah.
And I'll never allow them to. I'm the first one to joke with my friends about 6 WrestleManias and about, double actor and award-winning author and this, that, and the other thing. But once the door is shut at home, I don't believe that whatsoever. So it's just like, I don't know. That's why I'm just, when it comes to the Twitch streams, I'm so glad that I've started doing them because I get to interact with fans in that and in not an awkward setting of in-person meet and greet where it's, hey man, how are you? Good to see you. Click, gone.
Yeah.
Like it's just every week, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, whenever we stream, it's hot. This was our last Tuesday. We're switching back to Mondays for hot take Monday, where it's literally whatever pissed me off that week. It started over a debate about chicken wings, and it's grown to writing checks.
Is this flats or drums? What's the debate?
No. If you eat boneless wings and you're above the age of 12, reevaluate your life.
Okay.
Agreed.
Those aren't wings.
No, they're tenders.
No, those are not even tenders. They're horribly overbreaded dry chicken nuggets. That's what they are.
Okay, yeah.
They're always dry. You've never not had a dry boneless wing in your life, ever.
They don't hold the sauce well.
Huh?
They don't hold the sauce.
No, because all that just drips off. It's just not good. It's not, they're not wings. If you write a check in 2021 out of your house, like if you leave the house with a checkbook, reevaluate life. Like, seriously, just stop doing this. Stuff like this that really irritates me. There's little things, and then the group will bring something up, and Pico de Gallo. I made a tweet about this, and it made a lot of people upset. No one likes Pico de Gallo. You don't go and wake up in the morning and go, you know what I go for lunch today? Onions and tomatoes and cilantro. I'm going to put that on a chip, a dry chip, just those 3 things, and it's going to taste so good. No, don't do it to yourself. And now here's Nickelback. Here we go. This is a good one. People hate Nickelback because the internet told us to hate Nickelback. In 2004, 2005, Nickelback was riding high, baby, and people loved them. You can't tell me that people all of a sudden don't love Nickelback. No, the internet made memes or whatever they are and told us to not like them, so we're not supposed to like them. Nickelback, probably the 2nd greatest Raw song of all time, and we're supposed to hate them. No, get out of here. Reevaluate.
Wow. All right. That is a hot take.
Literally, it's just stuff like this that we talk about every week, and then someone will bring something up. It grinds my gears because at this point they know what really pisses me off, and they'll bring something up around that point, or oh man, there's days I feel my hands like just the Arthur thing. Where I just feel it. And at 35 years old, I don't feel like I should be doing that yet, but I do, and it's like,
hey man, just be true to yourself. Yeah,
I have to. If it's gonna happen, I'm stressed out, and guess what? I'm just gotta let it go.
Well, speaking of stress out, one of the things I like to do when I get stressed out is eat. And Shane, speaking of eating,
yes. Oh,
Go for it. Yeah.
yeah. Just quick question. I've been a big fan of a YouTube channel called Reckless Eating.
My friend,
For
literally the
Yep,
last
yep,
2
yep.
weeks, I've been talking about them a lot on Twitch.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
my
Yeah,
buddies.
for 10 years now. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
they're
I'm
good.
bringing this up to you. What was it like filming with them? Because like I'm friends with Matt Zion on Facebook, and he seems like a very genuine, very cool dude. A lot of them seem very cool. I'm just curious because I'm a big fan of theirs.
I mean, that was
especially
like
from
something
back
I
in the
always
day.
wanted to do, and then I wasn't booked at all that SummerSlam week, and I was like, "Hey, come to my hotel. Let's just film." And it was
Yeah.
disgusting, and my hotel room smelled the whole rest of the week. It was
What was-
awful. But
Do you
it was
remember the items? Because
we
I went.
think we did the Battleship game, and we had the
Oh.
durian. We had we had hot stuff. We had some kind of hot sauce. We had
Like surströmming involved?
the surströmming.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did all that stuff, and it was all awful. I felt sick all night, but it was we had those guys still. They came out to a bar wrestling show that I was on. I saw them at Double or Nothing weekend because I was out there for Starcast in Vegas. We had a very, very overserved night that night. Those guys are legit friends of mine, and I still watch their stuff every week. Every week I'm watching
YouTube
what they put up.
just completely fucked them, man.
Yeah,
Like
it's
just
pretty
absolutely
brutal.
destroyed
Pretty
them.
brutal. It's unfortunate too. So whenever they do well for themselves, I'm very, very happy for them.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear that they're good guys because I've been a fan for years and years. So
awesome, good to hear.
Yeah, and the other stuff you get to do and you get to join in is with the wrestling figures. What is it?
Major Wrestling Figure
Yes,
Podcast.
Major Wrestling Figure.
It's on your
Podcast.
shirt.
I know. It's on my shirt. The figure store. I was trying not to do the Miz gimmick and fucking read off of my.
You literally have it on your shirt, and then it's the exclusive shirt.
It is.
But but no, it's that. Those guys have like resurged my career outside of wrestling. Brian again is my best friend. Matt and I have been close friends as much as we hate each other. We have probably the biggest love-hate relationship in wrestling because we love screwing with each other. But
more than Kali.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
More than Al Snow? Mick Foley and Al Snow? That I think's the biggest love-hate relationship.
No, I think this one is bigger because there's not a day that I don't wake up and think of how I can mess with Broski. or like how is he gonna mess up today?
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's
with friends like these,
Yeah, you don't need enemies. But it's my love of action figures has come back, which is I love it. My wallet hates it. Like I say, I did the full Hasbro collection. I'm doing Hasbro Series 1 mint on card, which is a stupid expensive collection. I'm doing every Ultimate Warrior figure ever made, which is just a stupid amount.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Jesus.
And then it's fun, but it's such a community. Their Patreon page, their Facebook Patreon group is so much fun. And the content that they put out, shouldn't say we because they do the work. I just show up. But it's just, we're having fun with it.
That's awesome. Oh, it's so cool that you get to still be able to work with your friends and be able to
just showing up and having a party.
Yeah, and be able to do what you want and have that creativity and control of your future. That's really great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Do you have any other big plans coming up? Anything exciting going on? I know you got your book that you got.
Yeah, DylanPostel.com right there. Thank you. ACW, my company out of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We're doing big things. We just had in April we had Water City Wrestling Con, which is we were supposed to have it last year. Then the world went crazy, and we were able to do it this year safely. We had Kevin Nash, Emma. I call her Emma. I always call them like their WWE names because I don't care. Boogeyman. We had the whole Major Wrestling Figure podcast there. it was absolutely crazy. And then we have the rest of the year. The rest of the year we have, in the next 6 months, I think we have 5 shows. About a month ago we had 3 shows, and we just signed. It's just going. ACW Wisconsin is getting bigger and bigger. So you can find it on acwwisconsin.com or on Facebook/ACW Wisconsin. Doing that, running a training school, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dylan Postel. And it's just, man, it's everything. Everything is just, and then like doing random things with my son, which is the best. Helping him coach his baseball team and going fishing and just doing summer stuff now that he's off of school for the summer.
And you're home. You get to be
I'm
around
home.
more.
I'm not like, and then, yeah, it's just awesome. During the week, we are just go, go, go. Between the school and ACW stuff and stuff with him, I'm busier during the week than I am on the weekends. But it's awesome. I truly wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm glad that you're able to be in that position today, and that you got to share your career with all of us and all the entertainment you gave us all, which is really I know we are all huge fans, and again, just getting to talk to you has been a true pleasure and honor.
Thank you, guys.
I will be picking up a copy of your book.
Oh, thank you very much.
For sure.
Very much. It's I wanted to, and the book is literally it was a 3-year project. And just to get it right and get it perfect. I didn't want it to be a wrestling book or, just a wrestling book, because 20 years from now, I don't want to be, and this, Greg Valentine is a star, is an absolute star, and he's been around forever and done some amazing things. But I hate remember when. I just hate hearing remember when. Because I'm still doing current things. So I didn't want the book to just be like, remember when you had the ladder bump at Mania. Remember when you came out from under the ring. Yeah, we do. And I do. But I wanted to be about Landon and about ACW stuff and about my family, like my family growing up, which was crazier than anyone would ever believe. And it just, a lot of stuff in there that people would never guessed that it was almost like a weird therapy. I got it all out, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good way to way to look at it.
Exactly.
That's really cool, man. Well, thank you so much for
you guys very much. It's been an absolute blast. It's when you can sit back and relax and do one of these, it's never work. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck in your game of Madden against your son.
It's happening.
I hope you win and you get that house clean for a week or two.
I got to come up with something even better than that, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be big. It's going to be big.
Yeah, you'll earn it, man. We're rooting for you. We want, as a father myself, I want to see you win this one.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night, okay?
You too. Thank you so much.
You as well.
Thank you.